Hello everybody, this is Dr. Darok here, and I am ready to show you guys the latest weekly snapshot for Minecraft. It's the first snapshot that they've released for the huge redstone update. There's daylight sensors, and there are signal comparators, and booby trap chest, and redstone block, all sorts of interesting things to check out. And by the end of this, I should hopefully show you how I made this place close its doors and lock the doors at night. No one can get in, and even if you're still inside, it'll teleport you out with this nice little clock that I built thanks to the redstone blocks. So I'm just gonna wait here for a moment and let these doors close. Herp derp. Oh, there we go. The store has closed. Come back tomorrow. Ah, thank you. So this is thanks to this nifty little block here called the daylight detector. And this block will detect the amount of light that is coming from the sun. Not the ambient light level, but the amount of light coming from the sun. And I spent quite some time here experimenting and figuring out when all the times were that these start and end. Let me just give you an example here. 23,900 here is the one when my shop opens. So time set 23,900. Here about 5 seconds, my shop will open. There we go. The lights turn on and everything. I'm going to show you guys how I made that circuit. Why I selected the time that I did for the store to open. Right here at 23,500, the light level is still too low for mobs to catch on fire, the undead mobs. Here is when the mobs start to burn, and by the time it gets to the next light level, most of them have died from the sunlight, so the store might as well open at that time in the day. But what I want to show you guys first is these comparators. These things are really interesting. They propagate the same signal that is going into them. So if you go in with a signal strength of 14, like here, 15, 14, whenever it comes out on the other end, it's still 14. It'll go down to here and it'll stop. Whereas this one's at 15, and so is this one. Output is 15 signal strength. This one is 14 signal strength, so the output is 14 here. So I want to show you the main purpose of these comparators, these redstone comparators here. And what happens is this has a signal strength of 14 whenever it goes in. And just like the last one, it goes all the way down to 14 blocks past where it comes out. This, however, has a signal strength of 15 whenever it enters. And if the signal strength from the back is weaker than the signal strength from the side, there will be no output. However, if the signal strength from the back is stronger than the signal strength from the side, then in the default mode, it acts just like there's nothing attached to the side. Just the same as if you just fed a signal into it. If you'd like to read that. And then there is one other mode on them called subtraction mode, I suppose. When this torch at the end here is lit, you can switch it with a right click. Then whatever comes from the side input, as long as it's smaller than the back input, will be subtracted from the final amount. So as you can see, this goes all the way down to 15 here. That's the end of the signal. But if I flip this lever here, now it's only 2. What happened there? Well, this is a signal strength of 15. This is a signal strength of 15, 14, 13. What's 15 minus 13? 2. Or 12. Or, I mean 11. Goodness. Can't get my numbers right. And so let me just give you another graphical demonstration here. What I've got here is this goes all the way down to here. And as I flip these levers, they will turn the lights on only up to where this lever is. And this is just a line of redstone dust, a bunch of levers, and a comparator. There's nothing fancy there, albeit it's not very fancy functioning. And then the final use for these bad boys is to detect how full a dispenser or a chest is. Anything that can hold items, I suppose. And you'll see here the dispenser is just about half full, and it's going to just about half the way down this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 15. I guess that's more like a third. This one is hardly full. It only goes up to here. Of course, you got to realize the chest has a bigger inventory than the dispenser. And this one's pretty much full, and it's got a full signal strength of 15, which I believe is achieved at like 95% filled or something like that. Doesn't work for minecart chests yet, but I'm hoping that they'll add that. Now let me run over here and show you what the daylight sensor does. Let's go to just before the sun begins to come up. You'll see there's all this is off. Here in a moment, this one will come on. And then in about this long, the next one will come on. It'll go all the way like that up until the point where it's just about noon. It'll stay like that for a couple of Minecraft hours, which is a couple of minutes. And then it'll start to turn off gradually, get lighter as the sun starts to set behind the gorgeous horizon. And that's more or less how these work. There's not much else to them. They have to have a clear view of the sky. They have to actually be hit by sunlight. Nothing else will work. So let's go ahead and go to midday here. You'll see this. It's lit up all the way down to the end here. And let's go to the store closes soon. And if I'm inside of the store, whenever the light level drops too low, it'll detect me inside of the radius of the store, and it'll whisper to me that the store is closed, and it'll tell me to come back tomorrow. And I think I actually just... Oh, yep. It caught me outside. The next thing I want to look at is these hoppers. The hopper can take item entities that are thrown on top of it, and it'll store them in its internal inventory space. But obviously, that's not nearly the extent of what they do. If you come over here, you'll see that there's a chest, a nice empty chest right here. And if I start tossing some things, tossing some things into my dispenser there, you'll see that they go ahead and, my hopper, you'll see that they go ahead and move all of those items down into my chest, just like the pipes from Buildcraft, I suppose, if anyone's familiar with that. They can also take items out of one chest, or minecart, or dispenser, anything really. Brewing stand even. And it'll funnel them down through the hopper, down into the other chest. Not only that, but you can place your hopper on the side, not just on the top, and you can attach hoppers to each other as well. So whenever I come up here and I put something in this chest, all this stuff will start going down through these hoppers over to this chest. And now over here, we've got one of the neatest things, the redstone block. It's just 9 redstone dust one in every crafting spot, and it outputs redstone power from all angles, and it can't be turned off as far as I'm aware. So like if you put a torch on top, it's kind of silly because it'll always be off. It'll never do anything. But because it's a solid block, it's actually movable. And some of you might recognize this little weird-ass derpy pulsar thing, because I actually happened to catch this on Cube Hamster's channel, and I thought it was neat, so I figured I'd throw it in my video. But I actually made it into a bud switch. So whenever a block update happens next to this piston, it'll go ahead and do that shuffling and make all that ruddy noise. And it'll also do this T flip-flop here. And it'll come over through this repeater. It'll turn both of these on and stop this from going any further. So it basically just goes around in a circle once. And if you want to see that, tick, tick. So that's really useful, I guess. It's kind of derpy, it's weird, but oh well. I've got a manual override over here, so I can just stop it if it gets stuck or something. Or stop it from doing anything. So it's like a bud switch that's toggleable and stuff. Hope they don't break this, you know, bud switches are cool. And then over here, there is the trapped chest. It will output a redstone signal while it's open. And the redstone signal is actually based on the number of players that are in the chest. So if there's, as you can see here, these first two lights are lit, but the second light's only lit because this redstone dust powers it. It only outputs a power of 1 for each player that's accessing the chest. And I believe that's all of this derpy stuff that I needed to show you about the mechanics of these things. I want to show you the few things that I've built. Oh, I did not even bring up the weighted pressure plates yet. Okay, these suckers are pretty badass. If I were to start tossing items onto this pressure plate, you would see that with the first item, oh, I missed. You would see that with the first item I get an output of 1 signal strength. Once I'm at 5, I get 2 signal strength. At 10, I get 3 signal strength. It takes a total of 60 items, a stack of 60. Well, I mean, not a full stack, but 60 items on top of the pressure plate to give it an output of a full 15 signal strength. And then this one, more or less, takes almost a stack per... get out of here, derp face.